welcome all of you for today's event to release a masterpiece called Saving India's Wilderness, Challenges and Solutions. It has been crafted by seasoned scientists, conservationists, and admirers of Mother Nature in India and abroad. COVID-19 has introduced a new normal at various levels of our interaction. We would have loved to have a grand release for this much awaited volume, but keeping in line with safety norms,
Yes, sir.
we assembled for today's book release event. We have with us our chairman and co-chair, Mr. and Mrs. Patau, founder of Corbett Foundation. I welcome you, sir and ma'am.
Thank you.
The architect of India's Wildlife Protection Act, Sri M.K. Ranjitsinhji, sir, is here with us. He was the Director of Wildlife Preservation twice and Additional Secretary in the Ministry of Environment and Forest. He has been a guiding force of the Foundation since its inception.
Now I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
So I'll repeat, the architect of India's Wildlife Protection Act, Sri M.K. Ranjitsinhji, sir, is with us here today. He was the Director of Wildlife Preservation twice and Additional Secretary in the Ministry of Environment and Forests. He has been a guiding force for the Corbett Foundation since its inception days. I welcome you, sir. At the beginning of the program, I extend a very warm welcome to Sri Ashok Mahindra ji, founder chairman of Hemchand Mahindra Foundation. Mr. Mahindra has been a kind and compassionate supporter for the Corbett Foundation for many years now. The Hemchand Mahindra Foundation has co-sponsored the book which we are here to release today.
Is it okay? Can they see me?
Yes, sir. We are fortunate to have senior conservationists here with us.
Yeah.
Ulas Karan, sir, Dr. A.J. John Singh, Sri Asad Rahmani,
Okay.
Sri Vivek Menanji.
No, I'm fine.
Ravi Singh, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Bibha Talukdar from my state, Assam. Tony, Prerna, Arora Saab. We welcome you all. Thank you very much for sparing your valuable time, and I welcome you all. From a humble beginning in 1994 at the bank of Kosi River in Ramnagar, the Corbett Foundation has traveled length and breadth of this nation, from the grasslands of Abdasa in Kutch to the dense forests of Northeast India. TCF's field teams in Central Indian highlands, they have been working very hard as well for making coexistence a real dream. Step by step, nature has been a guiding force for us. TCF has grown, worked very hard, made an impact, and served the communities of diverse backgrounds as we speak today in 2020. The present book is a way to commemorate the vision of the founders of TCF and the support that leading conservationists have played in helping the Corbett Foundation reach many forests and forest dwellers in our country. On behalf of the Corbett Foundation, I welcome all esteemed contributors of the book who have made it today for today's book release event. I welcome our friends from media groups who have played a vital role in raising the bar for awareness on various conservation issues. Very personally, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to Sri Asad Rahmani, sir, Senior Scientific Advisor to the Corbett Foundation, and Sri Kedar, Gore, Director of the Corbett Foundation, for taking the editorial task of this very, very special edition and ensuring its release despite a stressful pandemic. I wish all of you very good health and once again welcome you for the book release event to mark 25 years of the service rendered by the Corbett Foundation in making this earth a better place. Thank you, sir. We extend very warm welcome to all of you. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Pandey, for such a wonderful welcome. I too join Dr. Pandey in welcoming all of you. I now request the Corbett Foundation Chairman, Mr. Dilip Patau, to make his welcome remarks. Over to you, sir.
I would like to extend a warm welcome to all the trustees of the foundation, the authors, photographers, who have contributed in this book, TCF's well-wishers, donors, institutional and CSR partners, and the members of the media for this virtual book launch event. I founded TCF on World Earth Day of 1994 as an organization that would work with the local communities to prevent and mitigate human-wildlife conflicts and to strive to ensure some form of coexistence between them. With a modest beginning in 1994, today, more than 25 years later, TCF operates in more than 650 villages across 7 states in some of India's crucial wildlife habitats. Besides Corbett, it now has projects in Bandhavgarh, Kana, Kaziranga, Sanjay Dubri, Temlong in Manipur, Western Ghats of Maharashtra, Great Indian Bustard landscapes in Gujarat and Rajasthan. Using the same approach of building trust and dialogue with the local stakeholders and then encouraging them through awareness, medical, veterinary, and livelihood programs and conservation projects, TCF has now grown to be the base for more conservation programs spread over 10,000 square kilometers of wilderness landscape. All this could not have been possible without funding, cooperation, support, and assistance from the corporates, national and international NGO partners, forest departments, and last but not the least, our dedicated and hardworking green warriors at all our field locations and head office. I would like to place on record my gratitude to all of them for believing in my vision and supporting TCF in its mission to conserve and protect India's wildlife and critical habitats. As a remembrance of and to commemorate TCF's landmark of completing 25 successful years, we plan to bring out a coffee table book that becomes the voice of India's conservation movement in 2020 and beyond. TCF has always believed in partnerships and thus has made long-standing friends and associates who have collectively been a strong voice for wildlife in India. This book is a compendium of 25 essays penned by committed, passionate, and nature-loving individuals who have spent a lifetime studying, protecting, and conserving India's wildlife and wilderness. Their contribution to the conservation field is enormous, and we cannot thank them enough for this. We hope that the knowledge shared and the environmental concerns expressed through these articles reach our policymakers and help in reshaping the conservation strategies to save India's wildlife and wilderness posterity. The editors of this book, Dr. Asad Rahmani, TCF Scientific Advisor, and Kedar, Gore, TCF's Director, have done a wonderful job of putting together the contents of this book to effectively highlight and pressing conservation issues faced by India today. I have no doubt that lucidly written articles by the subject experts and carefully chosen photographs not only depicting India's natural beauty, but also the grim reality of conservation issues will make this book a much sought after publication in the days to come. I sincerely hope that this book reaches to as many people as possible. I appeal to all of you to help us in selling this book. TCF pledges to utilize 100% of the sale proceeds of this book will go to run a grassroots conservation project. At last but not the least, I express my deepest gratitude to TCF's longtime supporter, Mr. Ashok Mahindra. Thank you, Ashok, for everything you've done for us. Trustee of the Mahindra Foundation and co-sponsoring this book. I look forward to your continued support. Before we proceed further, I would like to share the wonderful message sent by our Honorable Prime Minister of India on the occasion of India's Wildlife Week celebration. I'm happy to note that he has reaffirmed India's commitment towards conservation of wildlife and harmonious coexistence of all living beings. Thank you all once again for joining us today. Stay safe and take care. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. We will soon post this message as a part of chat box too. I now will take a few minutes in just sharing the process that we went through when we started working on this book. It was very interesting and a great learning experience for me personally, because I co-edited this along with Dr. Asad Rahmani, who has a tremendous experience as an author so many books. I am privileged to be actually a part of this project, and all the articles that came in, we've read through so many times. Every time, it brought out some different facet of that article and a new learning for me personally. So thank you very much. I am really indebted to the Corbett Foundation for giving me this opportunity. The Corbett Foundation completed 25 years in 2019, and I'm really fortunate and privileged to be a part of this wonderful organization under the guidance of its illustrious board of trustees, scientific advisors, and a fantastic team of colleagues. We wanted to celebrate TCF's Silver Jubilee by bringing out something that would be a fitting tribute to TCF's grassroots conservation work with an active community engagement in protecting and saving India's threatened species and habitats. Many organizations, institutions, and individuals in India's government, non-government, and the corporate sector have collectively influenced conservation actions at the local, national, and international level. TCF is indeed happy to be a part of this conservation fraternity and play a small but significant role in India's conservation movement. We decided, therefore, to publish a compendium of 25 articles by 25 authors from 25 organizations and photographs sourced from 25 conservation photographers in the form of a coffee table book titled Saving India's Wilderness, Challenges and Solutions. And it is an honor for TCF that this book is being released today during the Wildlife Week by none other than Dr. Ranjitsinhji, and in the august presence of all of you friends. The tremendous biodiversity that India has and the conservation challenges that India faces, it was a very tough task to choose the topics that have gone into this book. But with several discussions and agreements and disagreements between my colleagues, Dr. Harendra Singh Bargali, Dr. Naveen Pandey, and Devesh Gadvi, around 25 different topics were shortlisted from a pool of over 40 odd topics that we shortlisted initially. We really thank Dr. Asad Rahmani, TCF scientific advisor and editor of this book, for helping us in finalizing these topics. The book covers a vast area of topics, from the conservation of tigers to robber crabs, from hornbills to squirrels, from rainforests to deserts, and from wetlands to grasslands. We are grateful to all the authors who, despite their busy schedules, agreed to write for this book. The topics are all scientific, but the articles have been written in a lucid language and avoiding scientific jargon, without compromising on the importance of the subject and its essence. Carefully selected 185 images from photograph friends, many of whom are outstanding naturalists, not only depict the beauty of India's biodiversity, but also highlights the severity of the conservation challenges we all have been dealing with. India's wilderness is under severe threat due to human greed and our developmental policies that rarely include wildlife welfare and conservation as a priority. Climate change is altering the attributes of natural ecosystems at a fast pace that many habitat specialist species cannot cope up with, and a sport of extinction looms over them. The mayhem created by COVID-19 has shown us the consequences of destruction and mismanagement of ecosystems and the killing of wildlife species for pot or illegal trade. This was perhaps Mother Nature's way of retaliation against all this abuse. I agree that India is a developing country, but it is high time that we do introspection of India's developmental vision. We can take urgent remedial actions collectively while we still have time to take appropriate steps to prevent further habitat destruction and extinction of species such as the great Indian bustard and many other lesser known species. We hope that the knowledge shared and the environmental concerns expressed through these articles in this book are read by the policymakers and help in reshaping the conservation strategies in saving India's wildlife and wilderness. We will be sharing this book with as many bureaucrats, ministers, and policymakers of this country, and hoping that they will go through it and understand the wisdom behind writing this book. Thank you all once again for being a part of TCF family. Stay safe and take care. Namaste. I now request our co-sponsor of this book, Mr. Ashok Mahindra, who has been a great support to the Corbett Foundation since many years, to say a few words. Over to you, Mr. Mahindra ji.
Thank you, Kedar. About 1 year ago, Kedar contacted me with the idea of co-sponsoring a photo book, a coffee table book, in honor of, to recognize the silver anniversary of the Corbett Foundation. And he explained to me that this book would be very distinctive and special, and that it would be one and only of its kind. And when I inquired what did he mean by being distinctive and special, he said that this would be the first time a book has been published in India, probably, which is a combination of photographs by eminent wildlife photographers and leading articles by eminent personalities in the field of conservation. So I agreed and I said, yes, that's fine, let's go ahead. And today we have the product which is before us, and I think it exceeds my expectation. This book is a landmark. It is a book unique in its conception because it represents a combination of the problems faced in wildlife conservation and together with excellent photographs. Now, many of you may think that the involvement of the Mahindra Foundation starts with this book, but it doesn't. The origin of the relationship between the Hemchand Mahindra Foundation and the Corbett Foundation started 5 years ago and has a story in itself. One day, 5 years ago, I received a message on my website, and the message was from a certain Kedar Gore from the Corbett Foundation. I knew little about the foundation, and I knew even less about Kedar. He contacted me in complimenting the Mahindra Foundation for coming out with a project and proposal to support forest guards in lesser known sanctuaries. And one of the sanctuaries selected was the Kutch Bustard Sanctuary, where, as you know, and as I now know, the Corbett Foundation carry out a lot of work. And one of the guards, forest guards at the Kutch Bustard Sanctuary, incidentally had been awarded an award under this program. And here was Kedar reaching out to me, to an unknown person, interlinking with me, congratulating me on these awards. We subsequently met for coffee in a hotel, and that is how our relationship began 5 years ago. Out of the many projects that we have done, and there are numerous, I can say that every single project carried out between our two foundations have been extremely satisfactory. But the one which gives me great pride, extreme pride, is the one we have jointly done regarding the mitigation of the human-elephant conflict in villages in Kaziranga. And the outcome of this project, where we put up watchtowers, which is known as tongis, over 175 watchtowers, led to one of the major outcomes of this project was the bringing in of the International Elephant Foundation from the USA, who are now coming in independently to put up 90 watchtowers. And this particular project was one of great satisfaction to the Mahindra Foundation. Now, look, I can relate so many snippets from this book because it is a unique book. It is a remarkable book. It contains, it's a masterpiece. It's unique in the sense that I don't think a book of this kind has been attempted in India before. A combination. And I'm not speaking as a conservationist. I'm a chartered accountant by profession. So I'm in the midst today of an entire audience which are experts in conservation, whereas my background is that of chartered accountancy. So I would just give you 3 or 4 examples, snippets from this book, which appeal to me. And these are just few snippets. This book informs us, for example, that one of the greatest success stories in India has been the conservation of the Bharasinga at the Kanha National Park. And it informs us that from a mere 66 animals, we today have a very healthy population. This book informs us that WII and the Rajasthan Forest Department are coming together to form a lesser florican conservation breeding center in 2020. This book informs us that the most trafficked animal is the pangolin and less glamorous species other than the tiger, elephant, and the rhino. Species like turtles, otters, and mongoose, and so on. It's full of extremely useful information setting out problems faced by our wildlife situation in India. So let me end by one quotation which I found in this book from the 25 articles. I think this quotation, to my mind, summarizes the essence of this book in its entirety. This quotation is from an article which is headed "Grasslands are not wastelands," and it is by Devesh Gadge.
Just give you better sound quality, just 2 minutes.
And I'm just going to read it out. Quote, "The great Indian bustard is the pulse of the Indian grassland, and the drums of the lesser florican are the healthy echocardiogram of the fragile ecosystem. If we lose them, we are going to lose our economy and culture as well." Ladies and gentlemen, let it be said that this coffee table book represents the pulse of the entirety of India's wildlife. Let it be said that this coffee table book represents the scan and MRI in detail of the entire India's wilderness and wildlife. This coffee table book should be, according to me, on the tabletop of every bureaucrat, every policymaker, every organization, every government organization, every private sector organization, every policymaker, every social worker, every economist, and every scientist. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for those kind words. And we really appreciate our association with the Mahindra Foundation and your kind support. Thanks a lot. Now we move on to the next and the most exciting part of this gathering today. I request our chief guest for today, Dr. M.K. Ranjitsinhji, to address this August gathering. Sir, are you? Yes. Over to you, Dr. Ranjitsinhji.
Do you want me to do the honors, or
yes, we will hear you first, and then we will do the honors. Yeah.
All right. Friend, it's so nice to see you. though in this way rather than in person. So this is the order of the day. I saw this book and I was really very, very pleasantly surprised. It's an outstanding piece of work. And it is different from the tomes that are being published. All the literature on nature conservation is welcome, but a little diversification is called for. And this volume covers not just what I may call the mandatory chapters on mega mammals. It has them, and it must, but it goes way beyond that. And that's, for me, very important. It talks about what I would call godfatherless species and God-forsaken ecosystems and biomes and ecotypes. It talks about corals. It talks about the Andamans. It has a very interesting chapter on wildlife outside of the protected area, which is very important because I feel there is very little hope outside of the protected areas. And our protected areas, unfortunately, are not only small, we all know that, but they are turning into glorified zoos, glorified safari parks. And all the compulsions and all the drawbacks of an island biogeographic system applies to our parks and sanctuaries. There are organizations, and some are represented here, who are doing their best to have those connectivity corridors, but with varied success, be as it may. But this volume goes into, as I said, the butterflies, the moths, the hornbills, and of course, the floricans and the great Indian bustard. And there are so many more. And very importantly, the animal which is perhaps needs most help of all, the pangolin. So it has a very vast and a very varied application, illustrated by some outstanding photographs, led by none less than Dhriman Mukherjee, whom I regard as the greatest wildlife photographer extant in India today. They are par excellence. And my compliment to the organization for bringing out, and to Kedar and to Dr. Rahmani. I don't know, I can't see him here. He has always this problem of connectivity in every webinar I've been participating with him. But anyway, so it's been an excellent piece of work, and I thank Mr. Ashok Mahindra for supporting it and all the others who contributed to it. If I may be permitted to throw a googly, or should I say, point out something, not just praise, not because I want to in any way criticize this, it's done a marvelous job. But I'd like to just emphasize something which is, if I may say so, with all due humility, lacking. And this is not unique here. It is lacking in the conservation efforts of India, a wider spectrum. And I'll just come to that. We have become totally hidebound to cars. We only go where the vehicle takes us. I realize that our parks are too small. We cannot afford to allow people to walk about them. They will litter the place, knowing the predilections of our people, unfortunately. And they are too small, though there are places where it can be done. And Satpura National Park, which is one of the best things I've done in my life to set that up, perhaps, there is scope. But there are others too. But what about the mountains? What about the Nilgiris? How many people walk in the grass hills? Magnificent. How many people walk in the Himalayas? I can see some faces here who walk, and I compliment them from there. I'm sorry if I labor this point, but I think it needs to be said, because if anything, this reflects the dilemma that we face today. Just 100 kilometers or 100 miles north of Corbett Foundation's headquarters, as the crow flies, or as the yellow-billed chough flies, because it's the highest flying crow in the world, lies paradise, lies liberation, lies what is exemplified in one word, German word, Lebensraum, living space. The richest mountain fauna of the world is in India. We have 1/3 of the mountain mammals of the world. And in this book, there are in passing just 2. And that 2, which are not up in the mountains, which are mountain Himalayan foothills. Oh, okay, little higher, brown bear. What about the others? Are they not citizens of this country? Don't they require? That is where people should be going. That's where people should be walking. The forest department have stopped walking a long time ago. And now that they have, the camera traps, I'm sorry to say they cannot distinguish between the footprint of a leopard and that of a tigress, let alone between one sex and the other. And now we walk. We don't walk. There are some here who walk, and I compliment them. But we need to send the people into the mountains. We need them to see the grandeur and the glory of our mountain animals with the greatest backdrops of the world. There are no comparable backdrops of that kind. And if I may continue, I know I will be probably criticized for being parochial. Yes, there is no harm in being parochial for something which requires attention, which is the most neglected child of all, if it were, and something to rectify this very old age of mine, a failing that all these years, despite all my efforts, I failed to sell, if I may use the wretched word, or to think a wider vision of the magnificent biodiversity of India. The longest mountain chain in the world, the Andes, going north-south and altitudinal as well as latitudinal ranges are the most biodiverse. At the Cape of Horn, where the Andes dips into the Drake Passage, the most roughest sea in the world, the timberline is 250 meters. Up in Colombia, right at the northern tip, it is 19,000 plus. We don't have that. In that entire range, there are 4 mountain mammals, 4 species. In the whole of North America, 5. In the whole of Africa, 5. In not much of a continent, but Europe, 6 or 7. Taxonomists always waffle. In one day, in one nala of Changchenno, and I hope I'm not boasting, in 14 hours of walking and riding a horse, I have seen 6. None of those 6 are in this document. I'm sorry. But it pains me to say that. We need to go into the mountains. We need to have a wider vision. We have taken that step. We've gone more than halfway. And I'm very glad for the butterflies and for the coral reefs and for all the other species that are there. But we need to highlight our mountain animals, and we need to probably to step on that. I don't want to go any further. I have labored it too far. What can I do now? Release the book before I pass any further homilies?
Not at all, sir. We always respect whatever you have said.
I can't hear you.
Your point is well taken, sir.
Yes, I don't mean to criticize. They are only reflecting. You see, you get what you deserve. They are reflecting public opinion. The public opinion is reserved to this.
Absolutely. Now, I request you to hold a book in front of the camera, sir. And I
don't know.
Other authors, yes, we can see that. Other authors, if you have received, I may request you to please hold a book in front of the camera. This is the moment we all have gathered here for. Thank you very much, Dr. Ranjitsinhji, for finding time, and all of you for being here and contributing to this book in one way or the other. Thank you very, very much. I'm sure everyone who has not received a copy yet will definitely get in a few days' time. And I really appeal to all of you to share the online link of this sale of this book eventually, and request your family members, friends, acquaintances to buy copies, as many as possible. Thank you very much. And now I request, I see quite a few authors of this book being present today in this August gathering. May I request some of them, or probably all of them, to share a line or two of what they felt about being a part of this book and anything that they wish to comment on. Can we start with Mr. Ranjitsinhji, because he has given a special message to this book, and thank you, sir, for that. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Kedar. Thank you, Dilip and Reena, for this lovely occasion. I'll just be brief. Today is the ending time. We are coming into the ending time of the Wildlife Week. You've chosen a good time. You've chosen a good date. And it's my organization, all my friends, all those who have been associated with TCF. Please, from our side, please accept our heartiest congratulations for the 25th anniversary. It's wonderful to read and to interact with you. WWF India has been a partner of TCF for over 20 years in different parts of India. And I think the interaction, I can say, with TCF has always been of a very high quality, and it's been a pleasure to deal with them. In fact, all the issues and problems of getting things through partnership may perhaps lie on my side, but certainly not on theirs. So it's a wonderful partnership from our side. And we hope that this book helps to influence and to change policy. I haven't come across many books that change policy, frankly. And I don't know how this will be achieved here, but we must definitely try. I'd just like to say that the work of TCF, the objectives and the results of TCF, of the Corbett Foundation, far exceed whatever has been written in the book. Because the real issues are ability to work, the courage to work on the ground, the courage to understand and to take the issues at hand, and sometimes to work with very, very meager and difficult resources. I think it's very easy for many people to criticize that wildlife situation and the fact we don't have this or that, the other. But the fact of the matter is that TCF works in very, very difficult context, in landscapes that are not easy to understand or to organize. And we understand this, and perhaps this is important for you, for all of us to know, the context under which TCF works. So thank you, and thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for for inviting me here, and congratulations to all of you. On a slightly lighter note in the end, I'd like to say that I'm very happy to be a recipient of the book, although it's still lying in a sealed brown envelope under quarantine in my office prior to it being opened up. These are difficult circumstances. But Dilip and Reena, thank you very much. Over.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. May I request Dr. John Singh, sir, to say a few words.
Good to be on this occasion. Nice to see all of you. I mean, I thank Dilip and Reena for bringing out this wonderful book, and our Rahmani and Kedar for editing this. I'll be very brief, one sentence only. It has brought people from 19 institutions. That's very important. In our country, that is lacking actually. As a conservation community, we are divided actually. As a force, you have to be united, which is not there actually. So this book has brought some 19 people from 19 institutions together, and that is a great achievement. And I congratulate everybody who has worked on this book. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you always for your guidance. Can I request Vivek to share a few words? Hi.
Thanks, Kedar. To begin with, many congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Katao and Kedar, for this journey of the Corbett Foundation. 25 years, and I wish you all the very best in your work going forward. And also, congratulations to you and to Asad Rahmani for bringing out this brilliant book. I think Dr. John Singh said it. That was my first impression. I haven't seen so many conservationists and organizations together in one book. So I think that is the outstanding nature of this book, and perhaps the outstanding ability of Kedar to make everybody right. That is my lasting impression of this book. I have received the book. It is on my bedside for me to flip through. I didn't know we were supposed to hold it up, so I didn't bring it into workspace. But just to tell you that I've got the book and gone through it and find it most interesting, and have found a few nuggets of things that I did not know about at all. So that was quite useful to me. All the best once again, Corbett Foundation.
Thank you
for your work. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. Thank you. May I request Mr. Betu Sehgal to share his thoughts?
Dilip, when we started out at that point, everybody needs a pillar of support, but you were more than that actually. You were not just a pillar of support, you were a pillar of support with a small compass attached to the top of it. And all you said at that point, you may have forgotten it, is that, look, just keep on walking and the path gets clearer and the myths go away, and don't worry, you've got support hanging around behind you. This was sanctuary. This was at a time when actually quasi-shraddh ceremonies were being organized for me for having started this enterprise with no money at all. But look at you all. Look at the people who are here today. Yes, I do completely agree with Vivek that, we tend to be divided by our diversity, while the people who are actually destroying the biosphere are united by greed. But the fact is that we are together and we stuck with it. Look at this. Just look at this. Ranjit, I mean, you were there, Divya, look at that. I remember Dharmakumarsinhji, I remember the old man, we will 100% prevail. I've written a chapter on whether political will is dead, but the fact of the matter is it is not dead. We are the political will. It's the fact that we are perhaps in need of getting together a little more organically, a little stronger. And there's a vast difference. Ranjit, when you were in that transition, when you were working in that transition, hunting was still very much a part of the whole thing, and shikar was part of the whole thing, and we were getting out of independence and we had to go and build a country. And most of the work that we were doing today was considered to be either anti-national, either US, you are some CIA spies, you're keeping India's development back, or all manner of things. But today, the vast difference now between those days and now, apart from the fact that most of our biodiversity has gone, is that the rationale has hit and slapped people in the faces. It's been doing it for a while, but it's mostly the unempowered who are slapped because they inevitably suffer first, whether it's a drought or whether it's a flood. Today, I mean, from the President of the United States right down to the panwala on the street, everybody understands the consequences of toying with the biosphere. And if we can stay together, Vivek, look, you've been at this for how long now? Just think, in the early days, it was possible for us to live in silos. Ravi, you're in charge of an organization, I believe, that has a destiny to fulfill. Bibab, look at you. Please, at this point in time, Rene, we've got to come together. We've got to actually unite, and we've not just got to work together, we've got to present a common front. Divya, how many times have you sat back and corrected and channeled the reality of what conservation was in the 80s to what it was in the 60s and 70s, and now look at us, 2000.
Much worse. Much worse.
Really, but John Singh has walked every single, I don't think there's a blade of grass that John Singh hasn't seen on foot in this country. Every time I see him, he's out somewhere or the other walking. So look, we're a damn good lot of people. Whether we have worked together or not closely, it doesn't matter. Whether we have loved each other or not, it doesn't matter. The fact is that we are, Nirmal, we are guided by our own destinies. We are our own people. And if we were not diverse, probably the tiger would be dead by now because we'd have been singing the same anthem. Thank God we are different. We blood difference, you know. And I think I should end over here by just saying this, that it is time for us now to do a show of strength. That show of strength is not what I would call the Buddha party. I'm a card carrying member. I do believe that what is being done by TCF.
आपण ज्या व्यक्तीसोबत बोलत आहात त्या व्यक्तीने आपला कॉल होल्डवर
Hold maar rakha. Okay, sorry. So I just feel that we are on the right path. We will carry on. We will work on. But we do need to have a show of strength. And Kedar, you have helped us at this point. Reena, please just press on. Just don't change a thing. Just keep pressing on. Let's just make sure that our faces are seen more together, not only on webinars like this. Let's make sure that our faces are seen singing almost the same song, that the technosphere is a wholly owned subsidiary of the biosphere. And there is nothing, no human endeavor that we can hope to achieve if the biosphere does not come back to life, and each one of us is working towards that end in our own ways. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Saigal. It's always so inspiring to hear you. I can see Prerna here connected from Cambridge. So Prerna, over to you.
Hey, thanks, Kedar, and thanks for pulling me in for this book. Reena ji, Dilip ji, always such a pleasure to be associated with anything that the Corbett Foundation does, because it's, I've been part and not really a part, but you've been kind enough to include me in many of your projects and programs and functions, and it's always a pleasure to meet everybody from the conservation community. Both Vivek and Bittu have pointed out, you have this remarkable talent of getting us all together, and it's always such a pleasure because I draw such strength and energy from meeting all of you, and I'm utterly delighted to see all of you today. It's like a meeting of friends and like-minded people. So I just want to thank you. I'm a great believer in the power of words. I think they played a huge role in influencing me, and I have no doubts that this book and all will help create awareness, help. Hopefully, as Ravi Singh sir said, it's difficult that books change policy, but we can't give up hoping, and try we must. And it was lovely to hear you, sir, and all of you. My very best wishes, and thanks again to all of you who made this book happen, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. Bye-bye, and thanks again. Take care.
Thank you, Prerna. Thank you very much. Thank you. Over to you, Vivav Aranyak.
Okay, thank you, Kedar. It was a pleasure working, with you for this book. And I think, we almost over 50 people, joining this particular book release program across, the different organizations reverberates that our tenacity or our willingness to work together so that the conservation gets benefited. And I think this book is a very good tribute. Despite COVID, pandemic, at least the book has come out. And since even my travel in past few months and probably upcoming few months will be restricted, I think this book I can utilize, so that I can enhance my knowledge about the, different chapters being written by prominent conservationists of India. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabha. I now request Dr. Reni Borges to share a few thoughts. You are on mute.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, all I'm going to say is thank you so much for including me in this book. I feel deeply honored to be part of this wonderful collection. And I will echo things that maybe Bittu said, that we have to keep going on. But I think it's the younger generation and the younger people that need to be inspired and will be able to take our task forward. We plant seeds and we hope that those seeds will, grow up into big saplings and big trees. And that's what, at least as in my academic contribution, that's what we try to do, to inspire young minds to lead the charge and go forward. And thank you, Kedar, very much and of course, Asad Rahmani for including me in this wonderful collection. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Borges. Yes, now I can see Aparajita here. So can we hear a few words from you?
Hello, hello everybody. First of all, I would like to thank Kedar for asking me to contribute to this book. It was a pleasure to do so, and I just want to echo that what Dr. John Singh said, that it's remarkable and it's wonderful to see this book with so many different people from so many different organizations all contributing. I mean, it's a wonderful way to celebrate your 25 years. That's what really sort of was kind of a highlight or stood out for me. So big congratulations to the Corbett Foundation for all your work. I haven't been so familiar with all of the work, but I know Harinder Bargali from before, and I know Dr. Naveen Pandey because of his work in Kaziranga. We had an opportunity to sort of meet or discuss when they were also coming to Pake at one point, and yeah, just wishing you all the best in your future work. Thank you. And also, I just wanted to say that thanks to you, in my article, there were a couple of my local field staff who contributed photographs. And it's so nice to see that their names are also thanked in the acknowledgements. And, they also got paid for it. So, it was a very nice gesture on your part to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dutt. Thank you. We have Dr. Alice Bacon from the University of Edinburgh here. Thank you for joining all the way from UK. May I request you to say a few words?
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to join today. Congratulations to the Corbett Foundation for this 25th year anniversary. And your work is truly inspirational internationally. My thanks to my friend and colleague, Dr. Naveen Pandey, for working alongside you in Kaziranga, and it was a pleasure to be able to contribute to this chapter in the book. And I hope that the book will continue to inspire generations of conservationists, both in India and internationally. So yeah, from Scotland, from the UK, my best wishes to you all for your future work, and thank you for my inclusion. Namaste.
Great. Thank you. Namaste, Dr. Alice. I see Pankaj here. Pankaj Seksaria, are you online? Yes. Please go ahead.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Hi.
Hi, Kedar. Thank you. Good afternoon. Good evening, actually, everybody. I'm Pankaj Seksaria. I contributed a piece on the Andaman Islands. I work with Kalpavriksha, and I also currently teach at IIT Bombay. So, I mean, I'll just be very brief, and there's a great opportunity to write about the islands in the book, and I'd like to thank Kedar for giving me that opportunity. I was a little reluctant, I mean, I was a little doubtful how the piece would go because it's written quite aggressively and quite combatively, because I am very centrally bringing in the kind of defense, the growth of the defense infrastructure and thinking in the islands and otherwise, which I think is something we don't really talk about. And it's a holy cow that we can't touch, but some of the biggest threats are going to come from those kinds of things that we don't discuss or are scared to talk about. So in that sense, I'm extremely grateful to the Corbett Foundation and to Kedar and Dr. Rahmani for having included that piece. I got the book a couple of days back. I mean, it's absolutely fabulous. It's great to be part of that and to have contributed. So thank you so much, and it's great to be part of this very illustrious gathering. Thanks a lot for that.
Thanks, Pankaj. Thank you so much. Devesh, can I request you to say a few words because you have written an article?
Thank you very much. I'm feeling really honored and privileged to have been associated with the Corbett Foundation, and lucky for having contributed one of the articles. I'm yet to read many of the other articles, and I'm very happy to see the cover page, which is also the grassland. I am a man of grassland, so really happy to see that grassland is being highlighted very nicely. Thank you.
Thank you, Devesh. I think we have covered most of the authors that have contributed to this book, but I do see, and I must acknowledge the presence of Mr. Jaivir Singh, who is the Vice President of PwC India Foundation. Thank you, Jaivir, for joining in, and PwC has been supporting us in Kana. Jaivir, can I request you to just say a few words?
Thanks very much, Trustee. Kedar, congratulations to you, the team, Mr. Kathao and the board. 25 years of making impact in regions where people find it hard to go. It's truly something inspirational. Our introduction to you has been a recent one, but one that has held lots of depth, and most importantly for us, huge amounts of learnings in the way that we could perhaps be relevant to some of the challenges that India's biodiversity and ecosystems face. So once again, big congratulations to all of you, and we hope that our partnership will also yield some of those outcomes and impact that we're so much hoping for as we think about plant life and animals and biodiversity in the Indian context. So thank you very much for having me and inviting me, and congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Jaivir. Thank you so much. I see Bimal Gokuldas here. Dharamsi Murarji Chemicals have been a great supporter of Corbett Foundation. Bimal, may I request you to say a few words, please? You are on mute, Bimal. You are on mute.
Thank you. I'd like to congratulate the Corbett Foundation, Didi Kaka, Reena, Kedar, you and the entire team. I think excellent work you've done. I'm looking forward to seeing this book, and I'm sure it's going to add value to a lot of people like me who are, on the fringes, but want to get involved or want to do more for conservation. And I've always enjoyed spending time and talking to all of you at the resorts and with your conservation activities, and look forward to supporting you in the future as well. Thank you and congratulations once again.
Thank you so much. And your photograph has been used in the book, so when you get a copy, you will see that. I must acknowledge the presence of Mr. Tony Denton, who is a chairman of SLTP Satpura Landscape Tiger Partnership, supported by the Born Free Foundation in the UK. May I request Tony, thank you so much for joining in from UK. I really appreciate you being there. Can I request you to just share your thoughts on this? Thank you.
Thank you, Kedar. Thank you, Naveen. Well, I just think you've got an amazing array of contributors here. I really look forward to receiving a hard copy. My coffee table awaits your book. I mean, we're all suffering the current circumstances, But one of the upsides actually of this strange environment is the networking ability, and you pulled together an incredible team here to contribute to the book and to participate in your video conference. So I congratulate you on what sounds to be a very holistic, wide-ranging book, and I very much look forward to reading the articles. And thank you, Kedar and Naveen, for hosting us recently in Kaziranga. It was an incredible visit. Thank you very much, and I look forward to receiving a copy or buying a copy in due course.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much. We have come to the close of this session, and I request maybe a couple of, we can take a couple of comments from those who haven't spoken yet. It can be an open session, or may I request Dr. Chowda to say a few words. You're on mute, sir.
I think now I suppose you could hear me.
Yes.
Good. I must thank Dilip and Reena for everything that has happened in the Corbett Foundation. And it's one of those foundations which actually works in the fields and does it without really expecting rewards in terms of publicity and getting kudos from society, if you will. And that, I think, is the biggest and the most important aspect of this foundation. And that's perhaps the reason why it has been so successful in pursuing its goals. Of course, at one point of time, I was wearing a double hat because I was with the WWF and I was also with the Corbett Foundation. It was a pleasure to deal with Corbett Foundation from WWF. And of course, it's a pleasure for me to be on the board of Corbett Foundation and be able to contribute something to it. So my deepest sense of gratitude to the foundation at large, and specifically to Dilip and all the trustees and all of you who have made it a great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Mr. Ranjitsinhji, would you like to say something? Your video has gone.
No.
You're on mute and the video is not there. You can go ahead, sir.
All right. I don't know what's happening. I mean, I only have this phone here. Well, I've been with the foundation from the very beginning. It's been all the 25 years, and it's been great being with all of you. All my best for the future. I am part of it. We are part of it together. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Well, now I request Harendra Singh Bargali, my colleague from Corbett, to extend a vote of thanks. Over to you, Harendra.
Respected Chairman, Shri Dilip D. Khatau, Co-Chair, Ms. Reena Khatau, Chief Guest and Trustee, Dr. M.K. Ranjitsinhji, Board of Trustees and Scientific Advisors of TCF, my dear colleagues and friends, on behalf of TCF, I believe it's a great honor to propose the vote of thanks to all who have helped us in coming up with this comprehensive publication highlighting challenges and solutions related to the wildlife and nature conservation in India. First of all, I would like to propose hearty vote of thanks to our Chief Guest, Dr. M.K. Ranjitsinhji, for gracing today's event. Thank you, sir, for your very interesting and thought-provoking address. I would like to thank all the...
I hope I did not strike a discordant note. And if I did so, I apologize.
Not at all, sir. Not
My
at all.
personal experience with, if I may say so, my personal experience has been excellent. I've been associated with the organization for 25 years, and nobody has carried out the cattle compensation scheme as well as you have. And this has been an outstanding effort on your part. I sometimes get carried away. I'm getting perhaps too old, and I now, but anyway, and as my friends have said, this is one way we have to unite. As Bittu said, as Vivek said, you see, in a situation where the odds are against us, we have to unite. And this is one way of uniting, and the way everybody has contributed to this document. This is an outstanding, and I congratulate the organizations for doing it. But more than that, it's the thought behind it, of bringing everybody together. Because that's the only way you can hope to succeed. Thank you very much for asking me to come.
Thank you, sir.
Can I make a point, please? Can I make a point, please?
Yes, Mr. Chatterjee.
Yeah.
Yeah, incidentally, it's not Chitral Chatterjee. Chitral is my daughter. I am using her account. I am from a wildlife conservation society called Janglis. Congratulations, Dilip ji, and congratulations to my guru, Dr. M.K. Ranjitsinhji. Way back, and nice to see you friends here, Aparajita, Bibhav, AJT, many others, Bittu, of course. Well, way back in 90s, when I met Dr. M.K. Ranjitsinhji at the ministry for his thoughts on the corridor issues, at that point of time, none in the country, not even the Wildlife Institute of India, had thought about that. And when we started our project, we received a compliment from the Wildlife Institute of India director saying that they have one such project in the pipeline. Now, these days, corridor is a must issue. Well, to reflect on Dr. Ranjitsinhji's comment, I must say that Dilip ji and Ashok ji, I'm talking about Ashok Mahindra ji, you are all there. Can we bring out a publication to highlight the success stories of conservation practice that have happened over the last 70 years in India in part 1, and in part B, the life and times of the unsung heroes in conservation, that is the forest guards and officers. Well, we have seen lots of mind-blowing images over and over, but there could as well be a coffee table book, especially for the, as you said, as you all reflected, including Bittu, that the policymakers must address to it. And once such a versatile collection, compendium, is put on the table, they might even leaf through and get to know how and who are the change makers, and who are the unsung heroes carrying out this change day in, day out, their life and times in the forests. I'm talking about the guards. Because through Green Guard Awards, we are the first organization in the country, again, the Janglis, to have instituted this award scheme. Dilip ji knows it very well. So doing that, we know that what is the trouble. Even Aparajita knows while working in Pake, what is the trouble for them. So I believe that one such compendium is a must, and there are mountainous places that Dr. M.K. Ranjitsinhji said that places like Iravikulam National Park are not even given access to people. Well, the tigers reside at the height of 9,000 plus feet there. None other organizations have even cared to go on to top. I think there should be another exercise. Please, Dilip ji, Ashok ji, please think about bringing out another coffee table publications to highlight the success stories that we, the Indian NGOs, have done, have brought about changes. Thank you so much and congratulations. Hope to receive a copy of the book.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Chatterjee.
Thank you.
So yeah, I am continuing with my vote of thanks.
Sorry for butting in.
No, it's all right. So I would like to thank all the distinguished authors for sharing their knowledge and experience, which will greatly help in planning future conservation strategies in India. I would like to express our profound gratitude to Board of Trustees and scientific advisors for providing consistent encouragement and guidance. I would also like to thank our corporate partners for extending all the possible support to ensure wildlife conservation in the country. We are also grateful to Mr. Ashok Mahindra, Trustee Hemchand Mahindra Foundation for his encouraging speech and Hemchand Mahindra Foundation for co-sponsoring the publication of this book. Finally, I am happy to express vote of thanks to media, colleagues, supporters, and all the people who have participated and made this event a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harindra. Thank you very much. And I thank all of you for being here. I truly appreciate all the time that you have devoted to attend this program, not only from India, but faraway places like UK and US. I really appreciate your supporting TCF on this wonderful occasion. I wish you all good health and stay safe and take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reena and Dilip. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank
God
you,
bless.
Dilipji.
Bye.
And for
Thank you, everyone.
God's sake, keep safe.